I think he was fishing, Larry. He was working back and forth until he could pick up his teammate in the draft.
Well, a really good handling car, sometimes it takes a lap or two to get wound and get going because the tire pressures have to build up, and it's a little tight for a few laps. Then it neutrals out and really takes off.
I'm going to tell you guys, our pole sitter, he got suckered all the way halfway back through the field, started on the pole. Here at lap 5, he's back to 20.
Well, that great start he had was the worst thing that could happen to him. He is truly a sitting duck, and they'll just run up to you and go by you on the left and the right.
Riding with Jeff Green.
I want you to watch our speedometer up there, 187 miles an hour. And there you see the interval to the leader right now, Michael Waltrip. Even though he's in 20th, they're still within about a second and a half of each other.
But now the complexion of the race changes as the front 5 drivers get single file.
You're going to see a big variation in speed now, Mike. They're going to not be so fast going down into turn 1 because they got a headwind going into 1. But as we look at our American flag, that's our wind gauge, you'll see that they're going to get a heck of a push down that back straightaway. There can be as much as 4 or 5 mile an hour difference in speed.
That's our own personal anemometer.
It is. That's the one I used when I didn't know there was any other kind.
Off turn 2.
Larry, can you imagine how we used to stand down in the pits with little handheld stopwatches, the flag, watching the water, the waves on the lake out there, and figure out how fast the cars are going and what they needed and how they were handling?
Well, we have a lot of unique things to do it.
Oh, we do.
187 miles an hour down the back straightaway for Michael Waltrip.
And if you listen, the RPMs never change. Right about 7,000 RPMs, you're wide open all the way around this 2.5-mile track. Never lift the throttle.
Right now, that's definitely the case because the tires are still nice and fresh. Cars have got a lot of grip. What we'll want to listen to later in the day, at the end of a run, is if this guy can still hold it wide open or not. That's what makes you good here.
Matt?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. just told his spotter, Ty Norris, who's fighting laryngitis today, to tell Michael, I've got to let it breathe. Water's 220, so I will be ducking out just a little bit.
And what he means is as they go down the straightaway, Michael would try to block Dale Jr. if he said, okay, I'm going to try him up on that. I'll go outside or inside. But what Dale Jr. is saying is, I'm going to stick my nose out there, but I'm not going to try to pass you.
But the key is making sure Michael Waltrip, his teammate, knows that. And I'm sure since he's his teammate, he knows that.
He does now.
7 laps complete in the Daytona 500 on Fox. The Daytona 500 has become 2 different races. The fast, these cars single file out in front of the field. They are about 11 of them. And behind them, there's that single file pack as nicely lined up as they are, all in a row, drafting tightly. Behind them, the Furies.
Yeah, when this happens right here, the front guys get lined up. When you're about the middle of the pack on back, the spotters and the crew chief is saying, keep up with the lead draft. Keep up with the lead draft. Don't let them get away from you. And trust me, you're like Fred Flintstone in there. You're paddling as fast as you can go, trying to keep up. But if it won't do it, it won't do it.
But part of that second group, they're starting to get lined up, and they've already caught the back of this group. That's the way the draft works. If you can get lined up, that group in front of you, they're cutting the air for you. It's like a lot like the wake of a boat. And when you get lined up, that means you can run quicker, and you run right up to that pack.
Now, in the beginning, we were in a wide. Now we're in a gaggle. This is a gaggle here when they start getting strung out a little bit.
That's the front of the second pack. Trying to catch the leader single file.
Leading that pack is pole sitter Jeff Green in the 30 car. He'd love to get that group right there lined up where they can run right back to that pack that's in front of them in single file.
Now, you can believe this. I know Michael and Dale Jr. are teammates, but Dale Jr. will try to go around Michael if he can. He'll sit there for a while, but at some point in time, he's going to say, I've had enough of this.
Steve?
Mike, at the top of the show, you mentioned rain is in the forecast, and all these crew chiefs on pit road know it. Right before the race started, Randy Dorton, who heads up the motor program for Hendrick Motorsports, told crew chief Robbie Lewis it could be as close as an hour away, and that will affect the thinking and strategy of all of these crew chiefs. Dick.
Michael Waltrip has just called to his crew and told them that he will run low so that Junior, who is running behind him, can run a little bit higher and cool his engine off. Teammates working together in positions 1 and 2. Darrell, that's definitely the smartest thing for Michael to do. That way, Dale Jr. can't run that group around him on the high side. We know that the bottom is the fastest way and the best place to be. Protect the bottom.
And Larry, I know you're really up on the weather. I know that. But you are familiar with the vortex theory, aren't you?
And what that means when these cars get to running, it blows that rain, those rain clouds out of here.
All that high speed and all that wind from up there and down here and everywhere else keeps the clouds blown away.
All this hot air.
Keeps a hole right above us.
I'm talking about the exhaust of the cars. All that hot air. Now our virtual crew chief question. Vote now from your singular wireless phone by sending text message Fox to phone number 191 or visit foxsports.com to vote online.
I tell you a car I'm pretty impressed with and a little surprised, and that's the 9 car. Bill Elliott has won the Daytona 500 twice. I talked to his crew chief, Mike Ford. They were very concerned that this car would not suck up. What that means, when he would have someone pushing him, it would not run up to the bumper of the car in front of him. But right now, it looks like he's in good shape. But I think Bill has to have someone behind him pushing him with that car.
Here's the deal on Bill. If he can stay up there in that lead draft, single file like that right there, I think he'll be happy. He'll stay there. But if they start dicing it up, getting 3 wide and banging off each other, I don't think you'll see that 9 car up there.
Michael Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Stewart, and last year's pole sitter, Jimmy Johnson, riding in 4th place, Darrell.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. I love this shot here. We're in the car. Folks, it's all about hands and eyes. Watch those hands, and that tells you everything you need to know about that race car. The car's handling well. He's not jockeying around on that steering wheel. It's nice and smooth. That little juking you see there, that's just the cars going through the bumps, but the car looks very comfortable.
If I get too close to Tony, it really jumps up. Thinking about 245.
He's talking about the temperature. These Chevrolet guys, to me, seem to be having a little heating problem all week long. That's because they've got a new car and a new nose, and the grill's in a different position than what they're accustomed to.
And, of course, they have tape on the front end. The reason they run tape on the front end, that's radiator inlet. The more tape you run, it really decreases the drag on that car, makes it run faster down the straightaway. We see Terry Labonte in the 5 car. He has problems in the high side of turn 4 right here. See right there, all these other cars running well over 180, 185 miles an hour. He's down to 172 miles per hour as they enter the trial boy area.
Now, you never know. He could have something wrong with the car, or he could have gotten out of shape, got up almost into the wall, and he said, whoa, I got to back up here and get my breath and fall in the back of the pack.
17 laps complete. Michael Waltrip out front of the Daytona 500 on Fox.